And this is going to be the last race that we see Harvick run on Atlanta. So I'm glad to see Atlanta doing things. They got Richard Childress is going to pace the field with the 29 car, which is awesome. I think that's a huge deal, not only for Kevin himself, but also Richard Childress, a guy that's got a lot of history there at Atlanta, a lot of wins throughout all the series in NASCAR. What happened? No. What's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang, coming to you live right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe. Another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Man, I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Glad and hoping everybody still has all 10 fingers on their hands up there. I got mine laid low a little bit, so good to go there. But thanks for tuning in. Got a lot of good little NASCAR news tidbits to come in from Chicago. We're going to see, exactly what went down, so make sure you stay tuned, man. If you're new to tuning into the show, we like to start it out with what we call the word of the day. The way this game works is every time I say a word Lawrence is going to throw up, you're going to take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I have no idea what it is. Let's see. Last week's word, I don't have my... Lawrence, you grab my sheet for me? I don't have my sheet right now, y'all. I got a few little tidbits on this sheet. Sorry about that. All right, bam, there it is, man. All right, last week's word of the day was Chicago. I mean, come on. I know if you played, man, you were pretty buzzed up, and being the week headed into the 4th of July, some of y'all might have had that week off, Wednesday to Tuesday or something crazy. So if you played along, I'm sure you had a nice little buzz. But I always like to say this game's age appropriate as well. If you're under the age of 21, man, it's summertime, get an energy drink, get some sweet tea, something with a lot of sugar, a lot of caffeine, play along, stay up late, man. So this week's word of the day is going to be, I have no idea, but every time I say it, take a sip, y'all. So getting into that NASCAR news, man, it took quite a few years there. It took a long time, man, but it finally happened. SVG wins a street course there at Chicago on his first NASCAR start in his career, man. Took a long time for that to happen, right? But he did it, and we're going to touch base a little bit more on that, but a great run there for the Project 91 and Trackhouse Racing for sure. So speaking of the street course, man, I don't know if anybody else read this article out there, but they did. They had a Corvette, a daily driver, sneak onto the course, man, there one night, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, probably got in some trouble. I'm pretty sure he got arrested, but hey, man, it's a once in a lifetime deal. You got to sneak on there and do it. You got to give it a whirl, right? So he did it, and what a better car, man, a Chevy.
Come on, man.
That's awesome. Chevy wins it. Chevy Corvette, breaks onto it. I mean, it's just awesome stuff, man. Chevy owners, right? So Kenny Schrader joining SRX full-time, man, which is awesome. So if you guys are a regular watching the show, we had Kenny on a few months back doing a little phone-in radio interview with us. And that was an awesome deal. I greatly appreciated him taking time out to call in and do that before he came up and raced up here at Screven. So that was a big deal, man. That was an awesome thing. So SRX definitely got a good piece there. We all know he kind of helped develop that car a little bit, test drove it for Evernham and Stewart when it was first coming out and doing his things. And I tell you what, they gained another big name. Tune in with the start July 13th, I'm pretty sure. Thursday nights when it starts out. That's going to be an awesome series this year. A lot of big name drivers from all different disciplines of racing. It's going to be an awesome deal. So make sure you tune in, Rubbin' and Grubbin'. I'll keep you updated week in and week out as far as who's winning those races for sure out there on SRX, man. So Cole Custer wins a rain-shortened Xfinity race there at Chicago as well. I was really hoping, me and Lawrence were hoping that was going to get back to green there, but weather had other plans Saturday. We know it Sunday morning, rained out there Saturday afternoon, and just never could get it in Sunday with that weather that came through Chicago. So big congrats to Cole Custer. He got him one there, and getting ready to make a little trip back to the Cup Series here, I think, in the next few weeks. 3 starts there with Rick Ware in the 51, so maybe trying to work his way back into a ride there. So good job, Cole. Keep it going, brother. So if you haven't yet, please go out, like, share, follow, all that social media out there for us, man. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but most importantly, man, go out, subscribe to that YouTube channel, man. We're still getting there. We're close. I think we gained another one over the weekend. We're at 296. We're 4 away, man. I mean, we're 4 people away. Tell your grandma to subscribe. Like, make a fake page and subscribe. At this point, I don't even care. Let's just get to 300, man. I got to give away this hood. I'm telling you, the 06 Dale Jr. frosted tip Budweiser hood. This thing's awesome. Still got the shrink wrap on it. It's never even been hung up. I don't even think there's a scratch on it. Still got the sticker on the manufacturing sticker on the back. There's not even that many fingerprints on this thing, man. So at $300, we're giving that away. Like I said, if you guys want to know how we give it away, we ask Alexa to pick a numbers, 1 through 300, and whatever number it is that gets picked, that's who wins it, man. Don't have to do anything. We're going to ship it out to you. We'll contact you, get the address, mail it out, man, whatever it costs. And again, the Harvick helmet, we still got it going. Lawrence says 400. We're going to end up giving this away at some point in time this year. Maybe we got to do something special. Maybe we'll do like a photo contest of, maybe at the last race of the year, if we're not at 400, we'll do like a photo contest. Send me the best photo from your race day experience this year, right? Anybody goes out and follows them, the best one we get. I don't care if there's 5 that comes in. Get the helmet, man. So, but like I said, man, all that's great, but the more followers and subscribers we get, hopefully the more eyes we get on all the charitable events we do up here at Coach's Corner and in the Savannah area. All this stays local right here. That's the best part about it. John and Adele Henderson and everything they do here at Coach's do a lot for local charities, and hell, man, we got to do some here for Checkered Flag for charity as well. So, dollar in the swear bucket, and we're just doing big things, man. So, getting into it, man, we're heading into Atlanta. I mean, come on, home of the Atlanta, man. This is pretty much my favorite racetrack to go to. It's one of the only few I go to every single year. I don't go in July. It's just too damn hot. I'm going to tell you all that. If I could talk my wife into going and she'd go hang out, buy a pool or something and put it up, she might go. I might have to do that next year. But I do got family going. Parker's going. We got all kinds of friends and people we know that are all going to be up there, man. Going to be a great race. Night race. First time on that new layout that it's going to be at night. And I tell you what, I think it's going to be exciting. I think the grip level goes up, as we all know. Cooler temps are definitely going to help the drivers and the fans out. So going to be awesome, man. But, Atlanta's a really cool spot, especially for the guy we have retiring this year in Kevin Harvick, right? When you look at it like this, it's pretty much where the jump start to his career began with that win in 01. Awesome deal there, right after seniors passing. And this is going to be the last race that we see Harvick run on Atlanta. So I'm glad to see Atlanta doing things. They got Richard Childress is going to pace the field with the 29 car, which is awesome. I think that's a huge deal, not only for Kevin himself, but also Richard Childress, a guy that's got a lot of history there at Atlanta, a lot of wins throughout all the series in NASCAR. And that's where championships used to be. Champions used to be crowned. Championships were won in Atlanta, and they won quite a few there with senior throughout the years. So at the end of the day, I'm glad to see Atlanta doing that. That's a great job, a great way to do it. And big thanks to both Harvick and Richard Childress, man, for everything they've done there at Atlanta for sure. So that'll wrap it up for the news, man. And getting into this Checkered Flag for charity, I tell you what, it's all for Jamie Searhouse Monroe, man. If you guys are new to it, don't know anything about it, she's local here, lost her husband and her mother in a very short period of time. So we've been raising money here up at Coach's with the blessing of John and Adele, just to help pay with life expenses, man. So let's see, this year's total, not on here. I know we're right around $2,500 so far this year, which is a great deal. If you know what we do on Rubbin' and Grubbin', whatever car number wins that race is what we throw in. And it was a payday for it this week, man. $91 with SVG winning that street core race there. Awesome deal. $91 in there, man. I'm telling you, keep it coming. Got some good music coming up to Coach's. We're going to touch base on that later on this weekend. But anytime you come up, whether it be for lunch, dinner, have some beers with the buds after work, if you come up to one of the events in the Sound Guard, man, bring some extra cash. Get into the raffles we do up here, the Cooler Full of Joy. If you want to donate in, man, stop your waitress, your bartender, your waiter, John and Adele Henderson, whoever, man. Whoever you see stop telling you want to donate in Checkered Flag for charity, they'll make sure it all goes to the right place, man, for sure. So getting ready to get into it, man, the Arbor man, who's hot and who's not. Before I do, I got to give a big shout out there to my main man, Parker Eccles, owner, operator over there at Arbor Man Tree Service. Man, best tree service in Savannah, I'm telling you. Locally owned, locally operated. You'll see that number scrolling all night. Doesn't matter what it is. If you need some limbs cut back, if you need full tree removal, stump grinding, whatever it may be, make sure you give Parker a call over there. If you need an estimate, man, he'd be more than happy to come out and give it to you. Hurricane season, we're getting into the peak coming up in the next few months. Don't want trees through the house, give Parker a call over there at Arbor Man. As I always like to say, no job too big, too small. Give Parker a call, man. Love you, brother. Have fun in Atlanta. And I'm going to call you and text you. I got a special friend of mine might be coming down there to bring his boy to watch some racing down there. We're going to see what works out. But I'm going to send his number to you either way, man. Love you, Parker. So getting into that who's hot and who's not. And really, we're not changing much up from last week, to be honest, because a lot of those guys had really good runs. I don't see what's the point, right? So 3 Kyle Busch still stays number 1 for me. I tell you, it seems like he's just been in the role the summer months, and if you know Kyle through his career, summer months, sometimes he struggled. There's been quite a few years where he was hot and then just fell off, but this year doesn't seem to be one of those, man. I think it's all because he's in that Chevrolet, to be honest with you.
Come on, man.
Lawrence, I know, ain't going to like that, but rebounded well there at Chicago, man. Came back and, got a top 5 finish, and that's what it's all about. Make those bad days good, get those points, and roll to the next one, man. So with 3 wins on the season, and you got to go way back. In my notes, you got to go all the way back to Kansas to find the driver that ate outside of the top 10 in the finish, man. So that's a long stretch there. So I'm going to tell you now, look out for him. 2 on it, Kyle Young Money Larson, man. I mean, come on. There again, found a way, sitting second on the list. Another great finish there. I mean, it's, I'll say that the speed to me, leading laps has gone down over the last few races, right? But that tends to happen. But just the quality of turning there again, races that it doesn't look like it's going to go his way into just good, solid points day. This is another team that's really good at it. I say it all the time. I think Cliff Daniels and Kyle Larson's duo as far as the crew chief and driver are just probably one of the best in the sport that we've seen in a while. It's very Chad Knaus, Jimmy Johnson-esque, if you ask me. Those guys definitely communicate well. He knows the feel he needs in the race car, and he makes it happen for him. So keep an eye out. Young Money's not done yet, man. 3, come on, man, the Georgia boy. Chase the Bulldog Elliott, y'all. I mean, another there again, top 3 finish right there. Finished 3rd, found a way to do it. Inching closer, pointing his way into those playoffs, man, which is just going to be awesome. I mean, 55 back. Got, 8 races left, Lawrence? We got 8 more to go. 55 back. I see 3 names on that list he could pass easy. These boys have trouble, and he doesn't. Look out, man. He's going to get it. He's creeping in, man. So before we move on, I'm still thinking 4 wins, though, and I'm going to need these 4 wins to come very quickly. I still got some time left. I got 18 races left, basically half the season. It's going to happen for me. 4 wins, man. Odds are going to happen. 4 wins for Chase Elliott. Get me a real sweet $100 out of Matt Harrington out there. I promise you that. So who's not? Man, I tell you what, it hurts my feelings putting them on there, but Alex the Showman Bowman is definitely one that is just not hot right now. I tell you, Alex, after coming back from that vertebrae injury, just hadn't seemed to find the knack. He's had a couple good, solid runs, but nothing to write home about. And he just hadn't found the groove yet. But time's winding down, and I tell you what, if he really wants to get into these playoffs and lock himself in, he's going to have to go out and win. I don't see him having the consistency over the next 8 weeks, and some of the guys that he's racing against not. So we'll see what he does, but right now, the Showman is on the not list, man. Another guy on the not list, and I hate to do it, I hadn't come up with a nickname for him yet, right? And I got to do that over the next few weeks. But Tyler Reddick, man, still on the not. Been over a month to find a top 5 for the 45, and that's odd. He's been one of the faster race cars we've seen all season long. Top 7, top 10, top 12 majority of the time, and it just hadn't showed up. He's had some bad luck, some things go the wrong way for him, but at the end of the day, that's part of racing, and you got to be able to make those days good. That's what makes the good drivers great. So we'll see what he does. We'll see if he can get that momentum headed back in the right direction, but right now, definitely on the not list, man. Ryan Preece and the whole SHR organization, to me, is on the not list. They've been on there quite a few times this year. I tell you, I don't know what's up with them, man. I don't know if what they did to the Fords front end threw them for a loop. I don't know if Tony's more worried about the drag racing aspect of it. I don't know what's going on, man. But I tell you what, they're hurting. They're struggling to find speed. They're struggling to find consistency. They're struggling to find power in general. And to be honest with you, with younger guys coming in, Josh Berry, a new guy, maybe not younger, but a new guy there. Chase Briscoe being somewhat newer. Armorola, possibility of retiring. Harvick, we know, is leaving. Ryan Preece hitting a young buck either. You got to get some young guys in, but you got to have somebody that's going to teach them the ways. So we're going to find out how it goes down. But right now, SHR is not, man. So getting ready to get into this next segment, and I got a very special guest returning back up here on the show with me. It is, a guy that I tell you what knows his way around the track, is involved in the track on Sundays, on Saturdays, Fridays, Sundays. He's there, man. He's a legend around there. And Mr. Zach Case himself back on the show, man. How you doing, brother?
Good to be
Welcome
back,
man. Definitely, man.
On the big stage this
time. Oh yeah,
too.
we're set up. Yeah, we're not shunned in the corner this time, man. We got it all to ourselves this time, man. How you been, brother?
Oh man, staying busy, building houses, traveling.
going through travel every weekend, some crazy travel with the way the airlines are now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, delays, right?
Oh man, it's been brutal.
Yeah, man.
So just glad to be home half the time.
Yeah, I bet, man. Little peace of mind for a few days before you get back at it. But yeah, man. So tell me a little bit. How was Chicago in person, man? Tell me about that.
You know, the overall experience. I mean, it was cool. As they were calling it, you know, an event.
Yeah.
You know, it started off a little rough. Flight was on time, which is, you know, unusual, but the train system ended up going about 10 stops past where I should have.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to get to the racetrack, so I didn't get there till about an hour before the race. You know, got there just trying to figure out where we were going as far as coming up the subway, and you know, you had to go 2 blocks this way and 3 blocks that way, and then getting there, and then there was one pedestrian bridge to get over, and you know, it was pretty wild. Just how they had the haulers on one side of the park, and then you pit road is way over here, and it was an experience.
Long day.
Long day.
I know none of that equipment's light, and people think you know, it's just like, hey, we'll just get it over there, and it doesn't work that way, does it? It's a lot of carrying, a lot of back and forth.
A lot of pushing, and then a lot of sitting, basically, that equipment until NASCAR's ready for you. So you're playing their cards.
That's it, man. Their sandbox, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So what'd you think of the race itself on Sunday, man?
You know, I thought it was really neat. I mean, obviously the end with SVG. I mean, it just incredible watching his in-car camera and just how calm he was and his shifting patterns and just the way he was able to maneuver that track. There was a video I saw come out today where he went from like 17th, you know, where he drove from 17th to 1st. I mean, he would just dog guys on the same lap tires. I mean, it was just unreal.
Insane, yeah.
Overall, I mean, just, you know, race in general, it was wild with the wet, starting on the wets and then going to the slicks. And then I can't remember what turn it was exactly, but there was that one corner where they couldn't get dry and it was wet the entire race.
Yeah, whole time.
And just seeing those guys maneuver through that and back to the dry again, I mean, yeah, I honestly, I'm from a standpoint of there's a lot they need to work on.
Right.
Man, I think it'd be cool if they did it again next year, and hopefully with some better weather to see, you know, how it would pan out with 100 laps.
100, yeah. I mean, that's something that, you know, later on in the show I'm going to get to talking about, and you know, you can't. It's kind of like when we went to COTA that first year, right? And we were in that downpour, and it was like, you know, you can't really judge it because it's like this is something that, one, it's new for us, right?
Yeah.
As fans and for you guys, obviously. I mean, hella new. And then, you know, you go and you're like, well, it was okay, but it wasn't great. We got to give it at least another shot, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so this weekend schedule, what you looking like, man? You gonna Mid Ohio, or are you going straight to Atlanta?
No, going to Atlanta. Okay. So Mid Ohio, the trucks, because Xfinity lines up with Cup. Just logistically,
going there.
They're controlled stops up in Mid Ohio, so we don't have to do pit stops there.
Okay, awesome.
And then so I'll be driving up about probably noon on Saturday, get to the track about 4 or 5 o'clock, and do the Xfinity race, and then I'm driving back home so I can enjoy my Sunday.
Okay, awesome, man. I'm not mad at you, brother.
Quick one, yeah.
I'm not mad at you. I'm sure y'all hear that. We're in a downpour right now out here, but yeah, man, glad to hear that. I know, like I said, you got your boy and the family out here tonight, and you know, you get short weeks, obviously working at home here, and then spending your weekends there, and you know, from a guy that had a dad that worked on the road a lot, I know how important it is to get that time to spend, man. So big kudos to you for that. But yeah, you know, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Atlanta, man, I'm thinking things might happen. You know, you guys can get a good run there for sure, man.
It's been a frustrating year. I mean, definitely unexpected compared to where, you know, Tommy and them were at last year.
Right.
You know, we've had good pit stops. We've had gremlins with the motors. You know, and we were in a group, we got a group text with Jeff and the pit crew guys, and I mean, we've all been together a long time, you know, we're good buddies, and it's basically like, hey, this is our week to rebound, you know, we can do what we can do, what we can control. Hopefully we've got past all the bad luck, and we can continue to you know, try to improve off of, you know, where we've been, and it's been frustrating to say the least. So I think with the drafting and all that, you know, this weekend's a good shot. And, you know, hopefully
man, it's kind of that equalizer out there, you know, it really is, man, and you never know what's going to happen, and you know, I mean, I've seen him have a lot of good runs at a lot of good places, man. So I think you know, this weekend's probably one where he's like, if there's going to be a place, you know, you always. To me, it's like when you go to a super speedway, the Daytonas or Talladegas, or even now somewhat of Atlanta. when an underdog or a lower funded guy, you know, has a really good run, you're like, you know, you got to give him props for that, man. It really is that equalizer. So
absolutely.
But who you liking in the Cup Series this week, man? Who you looking at?
Man, for an underdog, we got to talk about him because, and again, we grew up together.
I know, man.
Mr. LaJoy,
that's right.
I mean, man, he is. When it comes to Atlanta, he's got something figured out.
He does,
they got
man.
It figured
He really
out.
does. Yeah.
I really think he'll be there in the end when it comes time to, do it. Again, same as last year. I think Chase. Man. I think your boy Chase will be there. I think coming down to where we're getting that cutoff and where they need to be as far as him missing those races and needing to, try to make the chase. I think this is one that they probably circled of, hey, this is where we need to step up and win a race. So
I can agree with that 100%, man.
Yeah, I think Chase and Corey. I think a repeat of last year. Hopefully it's the other way around.
That's right. But I tell you a funny story, man. Me and Lawrence had some money on. We bet Corey for that race last year. We had him to win and top 3, and I had Elliott and I had Eric Jones.
Oh wow!
So man, we had a few other guys picked out, but I mean we bet I think a few hundred units, and we were looking at like a 6,000 unit payout.
Yeah.
If Corey would have won that race,
I would have been jumping up and down.
Oh, dude, the whole time we're sitting there watching it, and I'm like, I'm an Elliott fan. Like, all right, he won.
Yeah.
Cool at the home track. All right, awesome. But I'm like, come on, man. Like, I'm like, even if he would have just finished second and didn't try to throw the block, I'm like, man, that would have been great. But yeah, I mean, resorting even back to the spring when we were there, I mean, looked good all day, kept himself to good track position. Yeah. Even when he lost a little bit, found a way to get right back up there. Yeah. And good golf. Yeah, it's dumping, man. And I tell you what, like you, when we go there, I pull for him too. I think that in the future, hopefully we see him move up, from the equipment he's in, even, a Stuart Haas or a third car over at Trackhouse or anything like that. To me, I think when you look at a guy, instead of bringing a young guy up from Xfinity, you can look at a guy like Corey LaJoy and go, let me put him in, man. Yeah. I mean, he's got the experience behind the wheel. You see the talent that's there.
Yeah. Well, we all know, I mean, watching Twitter that whole week going Gateway where he filled in for Chase, I mean, people don't understand how hard it is to step into a situation, especially like that. I mean, that is the 9 Napa car. You're working with all new guys. Corey's probably, garage mentality-wise, probably one of the smartest drivers in the Cup Series just because Randy made him build his cars from the ground up, and he knows these race cars. So, and when it comes to driving, I mean, he's got what it takes. But again, I mean, that 9 car struggled the year before. And so, they've got a good pit crew. I don't know if you've ever seen, but like his pit crew, they're in the top 10 every week.
Yeah, man.
So if he's going to he's got the talent to do it. I think Corey at this point wants to get himself in the right situation. So I think that'd be fantastic. If that 10 car opened up, if Almirola was gone.
And like I said, you're getting a guy that, can start and finish races, not a young guy moving up that is going to tear a lot of equipment for a team that's already kind of had a couple down years, if you ask me. And resorting back to that 9, people I think expected him to get in and do something similar to what Josh Berry did. And when you look at it, like you said, Berry filled in at probably one of the better tracks for that whole organization.
Yeah.
And then when you go there, they struggled a little bit. And not only that, but the communication. And like I know, the feel that they're looking for inside that race car doesn't just happen overnight or from you relaying that information. It's weeks and months of working together and going, this is what he likes, this is where we need to start, and then we can adjust from there. And there again, the communication back and forth that, hey, I need this, I need that. I mean, that's a lot to ask of a guy for one sit-in to get in and be successful.
Well, everybody knows Junior Motorsports and Hendrick Motorsports, I mean, basically is Hendrick's Xfinity team.
That's it. Yeah.
So Josh Berry is working with those guys still, in some sort of aspect every week, relaying information.
Right.
I saw Josh at the racetrack during Cup races throughout the season, so he's around those guys on a constant. So I think there's a little bit of a difference there when it comes to Corey and Josh. But yeah, I think moving forward, Corey's got a real good shot of stepping into a newer ride the next couple of years and really proving himself, and especially what he's done with that 7 car.
Yeah, to me, I mean that's hands down. I mean, when you talk about a guy that I think is deserving, right? It's almost like Matt Benedetto in those few years. You know, it was like, oh, this is the guy that you see the talent that's there. What would happen if he got good equipment? And I think Corey's probably twice the race car driver Matt is, to be honest with you. Like, just from watching what the 7 car was into what it is now, is like there's racetracks they go to and contend. First part of the season, I mean, top 15, top 12, top 10s. I mean, it's like, that catches a lot of guys off guard when you go back and look at those races and look at the equipment that they outran. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge deal, man. So.
Yeah. And the thing is, not bringing it up, but like the K&N series, you know, Corey ran out of Randy Seat Shop. You know, he was borrowing parts from people, you know, to where a lot of these guys ran with Hendrick Motorsports. Joe Gibbs Racing had a K&N team.
Right.
You know, they had a lot better rides coming up through to where, again, Corey was getting parts from different people to put those race cars together, and it was still competitive. I mean, I think there's a year we won 5 or 6 K&N races with the Chase Elliott's. Daryl was with Rev. Matt DiBendo was Gibbs. I mean, there was a lot of talent in that series. So.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm going to let you get out of here in this monsoon, brother. I want to tell you, thank you for sure, man, for coming up as always.
Absolutely.
Be safe in Atlanta.
Will do.
And like I said, March, I'll see you there, man. You guys got to come out and hang out.
Come on.
Bring the fam over, and you guys come hang out Sunday and watch it with us. And
absolutely.
Come chill out, man.
Cool, man. Appreciate it.
Brother. Good seeing you, Zach. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Zach Case, everybody. I'm telling you, man, the guy knows his stuff. He's calling Corey. I'm doubling down on Corey this weekend, man, for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right, man, so getting ready to move into the Chicago recap, and I tell you, it's wild out here right now, man. But SVG, man, victorious. First Cup Series start, first Cup Series race ever. Wham, bam, man, gets the win. I tell you, it was something to watch, as Zach was just talking about. Coming up through that field there, you know, passing 16, 17 guys, and just the speed that he was able to carry compared to a lot of those other guys. It just shows the talent coming from that Super V8 series and being familiar with street course racing, what they were able to do, man. And I tell you, they were able to do some amazing stuff there. And there again, Project 91 and Trackhouse Racing is no joke. It's clearly their equipment is good. But we see it with Ross Chastain winning races. We see it with Daniel Suarez and those guys having good runs every single week. So to have a Project 91 car built and do what it did there at Chicago Street Course was great. I mean, good little piece. Like I said, my feelings are similar to Zach's, a little bit different, which we're going to talk about in another segment. But, you know, hey, always good to see, man. Even caught some praise from the Hendrick drivers going, man, he's going to go back over there to New Zealand in the Super V8 class and tell everybody how he kicked our ass in NASCAR, you know, and that's pretty much the gist of it right there. I mean, that's really what kind of made it happen. That's the truth. But, hey, man, Justin Haley, got to give him a big shout-out and pat on the back. Justin Haley had a great run, man. I mean, drove from dead last, came up from dead last all the way to be leading that race and got outran by probably one of the best guys to do it on street course racing in I would say a similar car. Not the same, but it's close. It's something similar, you know. But, look, couldn't find a way to, you know, to hold him off. He just couldn't find a way. He was just too fast. But got to give that 31 team props and kudos, man, for putting him in that position and getting that second place finish. And that's a great run there for Justin Haley, man. So big round of applause to you, brother. So, you know, the race was shortened, which I kind of caught some BS slack on. I mean, I get it. You knew when you started at that time it wasn't going to be able to make it before nightfall. I think they probably should have called it 75 laps from the jump. But they didn't. They came on there partly through the race and said, hey, we're not going 100, we're going to go 75 due to darkness. And I think it just kind of cost some guys some strategy. I think Christopher Bell got caught up. I think there was quite a few other guys that got caught up trying to run a different strategy, thinking we were going 100 laps, and we just didn't. So at the end of the day, NASCAR did what they had to do. I'm not going to down them too hard, but maybe next time, when they know if they're starting at 5:30 their time and it's not going to make it all the way through with the lap times, and I know that's what it comes down to, is what kind of lap times are they going to run. Just call it 75 at the end of the day. Chase Elliott, baby, found a way for another top 5, finished 3rd there, getting them points, man. I tell you what, the 9 is going to be hell now. It's going to be something to be seen if the man can overcome 55 points in these next 8 races and make the playoffs on strictly points. I mean, that's going to be awesome. I think he's going to win. I think in the next 8 races he's going to win. This is a good opportunity for him here. He's done it before. He did it last summer. He could do it again this summer. It's a good opportunity, man. So just like Zach was saying, if you're looking at one that was probably circled for the 9, I think Atlanta's going to be the spot. But, hey, top 3 is Chicago, man, on those mean streets, boy. Bad Leroy Brown is what we're going to call Elliott last week, man. I thought he was going to win it, but he didn't. But awesome deal, man. Noah Gregson had an intimate relationship with those tire barriers out there in Chicago. He was definitely getting the wrong kind of rubber, if you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, you know, he laughed and joked about it. He wasn't the only one, man. I mean, there was quite a few. Kyle Busch found them. Bubba found them. Eric Jones, Keselowski. I mean, there was quite a few guys, man. Brad Kay. Those are, I mean, like I said, those are just a few guys, to name a few, that got into those tires, man. It was slick. It was rough, man. It was wet, and they did the best they could. So kudos to them, man. But all in all, I'll say this was better than I expected. I'm still a firm believer on what I talked about going into the race, which we're going to touch base on here in another segment. I still think that NASCAR has no business doing street course racing, and that's just me. Well, it's raining out here, man. That's just me. Not a fan of it. I'm not a big fan of road course racing, so I'm not going to be a fan of street course racing either. But we'll talk about it more in just a little bit, man. I do believe, like I said, it was better than I think I expected it to be. But there again, I'm just still not a fan. So getting into that Atlanta, the Hotlanta preview, baby. The home of Atlanta, man. I'm telling you right now, going to be an awesome race. Atlanta Motor Speedway has a lot of stuff planned up all weekend long there. Going to be that first night race on the new reconfiguration of Atlanta. I think this is going to be one for the ages, man. I really wish I was going. I can't swing it at work. I'm going to have to go back in July at some point just to catch the 2 a year. But at the end of the day, it's going to be wild, man. There again, Chase Elliott won it last year. We'll see who can do it. Maybe Corey redeems himself and gets that win. Maybe we got somebody new. Maybe it's a repeat winner. I mean, we'll see who can do it. But I think this is going to be a pretty wild one. Probably one of the more wild races we've seen on the new reconfiguration yet. So getting into that top 5, baby, as if it was a surprise. You know the Georgia boy. Chase the Bulldog Elliott, #1 on my list, son. I got to take him one at the home track. I hope he gets a streak going. I hope he wins like 3-4 in a row here, man. There again, didn't get to see him in Atlanta, you know, last summer. I didn't get to see him get that win in person, but I'm hoping he does it again right here. So Chase, go get him, dog. 2 for me. Lawrence will be happy about this. Joey Logano, the winner in the spring race this year. I tell you, Logano's got a knack for the super speedways. He does his thing, man. He is legit. He knows how to get around them. He found out how to get around Atlanta in the spring. I expect no different this summer. Joey Logano, #2. 3 for me, another Hendrick Chevrolet, baby. William Byron, another winner of the Atlanta there on that new reconfiguration. Another pretty good super speedway driver as well. I think the 24 has been quiet as of late. I think this is where him and Rudy Fugle get it back together and get another win, maybe. Getting 4 wins on the season. 4 for me, Kyle Busch, man. 3 Chi-Kai, got to go with him. Can't go without him. I mean, he's a legend. He's going to run good. I got a feeling. There again, Talladega got that win. If he can find a way to be there at the end of this one, might get a 4th win of the season there as well. I'll take him 4th. 5, I tell you guys all the time, you can't go to any racetrack without taking Kyle the Martian, a.k.a. Young Money Larson. I'll take him 5th in that 5 car, man. Not the best on the super speedways, but I tell you what, it seems like this year they got a lot of horsepower in their Chevys, know how to race them. He's figuring it out. I'll take Kyle Larson 5. Dark horses, #1 on my list. You heard Mr. Zach Case name the man himself, one of his good buddies, Corey LaJoie. I tell you what, he's got a knack for Atlanta. I don't know what they do over there in that 17, but they damn sure got a way of figured out on what to do. So I'm rolling with Zach. I'm doubling down and taking him as a dark horse. Other guy, Brad Keselowski, man, finished 2nd there this spring. I tell you, people sleeping on him. Bookies sleeping on him, man. You got to watch out for Bad Brad. Going to be another good run for him. One of the better super speedway racers we've seen come up through the sport in the last 10, 15 years. Brad Keselowski definitely knows what he's doing. I'll take Bad Brad as a dark horse as well. And a little bit deeper, man, I think it's time for these guys to get on board, and that's Eric Jones. I think Eric Jones has the potential to have a really good, solid run there at Atlanta, maybe contend for a win if things fall right, finds the right line, good pit stops. Might see that 43 in victory lane, man, which would be great. So go get them, y'all. Getting ready to get into that next segment of the show, and that is the money line. But before we do, man, money line presented by Redfin Polarized Sunglasses. Bam! Best polarized sunglasses on the planet, man. Italian frames, Carl's Ice lenses. These things are legit, man. Made for the woods, made for the water. Doesn't matter what you're up to. Make sure you got your Redfins, man. Doesn't matter if you got money on the line or you fighting a wall hanger, man. Make sure you see it clearly. Best polarized sunglasses right there. Redfin Polarized, baby. Doesn't matter, made for the woods, made for the water, made for the lake, made for a lazy Sunday drive, whatever it may be that tickles your fancy, make sure you're looking good and stylish in the Redfins, man. You can also go to checkout at their website, check them out. Got some new releases coming out, I saw, man, which is really awesome. Some new colored frames. I'm going to be getting my second pair here coming up very soon. I got to be able to switch some styles up. But I tell you what, check them out. Use code Rubbin'n'Grubbin15. Save you 15% at checkout, man. And as always, y'all, live life fins up. Don't get caught without your red fins, baby. So getting into that money line, man. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, baby. Bam! I tell you what, me and Lawrence got us a nice little hit this weekend. Wasn't huge by no means, but we did have SVG at plus 900 units. And we took Chase Elliott at plus 400 to finish top 3. So we hit there, man. That's up to 4,275 units on the year, man. We are doing pretty damn good. This week, getting into Atlanta, I'm going to tell you this. We are getting ready to throw the gusto out there, baby. We are swinging for the fences this week in Atlanta. We are probably going to spend some money, to be honest with you. We are probably going to spend some money. Looking at the opening odds, man, I tell you what, Kyle Busch opened at plus 1,000, Elliott at plus 11 or 1,200. You got Byron up there. I mean, you got a lot of guys up there that are all really, really, really good opening odds, man, that I tell you what, you got to take a few of them, if not all of them. Getting down a little bit even further, you get into some of those Toyotas, man. You got Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, 14, 15, 1,800. A little bit deeper, man, but most guys are over plus 2,000 units. The 7 of LaJoy, 43 at plus 3,000. Huge opportunities for a win. Huge opportunities for top 3s there. Man, you can even go further back. I mean, the Ty Gibbs and Kevin Harvick at plus 4,000. I mean, there's just a lot of money to be made and opportunities to make it, man. So make sure you follow us on our social media. Lawrence does a good job of posting those every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series. So make sure you check it out and see exactly who we locked in. Share with us, man. Share me who you got locked in. Tell me if I'm missing somebody or not. But at the end of the day, got us some dough, baby. Got in those units. Back in the plus. I'm loving it. So getting into the next segment of the turn, the hard right turn, but before we do, got to give a shout out to the sponsor, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Lamar up there at Lamar's Body Shop. 35 plus years of taking care of all of Savannah and surrounding areas automotive collision needs. Doesn't matter what it is, man. Paint job, need full body repair, new bumpers, fenders put on. If you need an estimate for the insurance company, make sure you go see Lamar out there at Lamar's Body Shop, man. Him and his crew are the best in the local area. 2301 Skidaway Road. Hop, skip, and a jump away from right here at Coach's. It's a win-win. Drop the car off for an estimate. Come up to Coach's Corner, get a sandwich, man. Go back, get the car. Everybody wins, man. Again, 2301 Skidaway Road. I'll say it one more time. 2301 Skidaway Road, Lamar's Body Shop. As I always say, man, why settle for par? Go see Lamar, baby. Love you, dude. So getting into this hard right turn, man, and we're going back to last week's conversation about the Chicago Street Course and it being a venue, all right, an event. Look, I'm still not a fan. I said the race turned out better than what I expected. It did. I'm still not a fan of it at all. It's not my forte. I don't like road course racing that much. I don't like the street course. Was it neat? Was it awesome? Yeah, but this is the question I want to ask you, man. Did it make money? The bummer is the weather, which you can't control. But at the end of the day, people pay $250 to $350 to even more than that to go see this race. Miranda Lambert concert rained out. The Chainsmokers rained out. The events that they were having, you know, fair and everything else that went along with it, rained out. So you paid $250 to $300 a ticket for an event that you didn't get to see half the thing. So wasn't a good look to me for NASCAR, just kind of bad deal there. And the question I had to ask is, did it make money? Did it make money for the company of NASCAR, the organization of NASCAR? Because if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense at all, y'all. You know, they got that deal and a contingency plan put in. It spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to put this race together. I think there was a lot of other better racetracks out there they could have spent millions of dollars to revamp or put back into. You know, at the end of the day, they didn't. They chose to go to the streets of Chicago. Awesome. My question is, does NASCAR make enough money as an organization to go and do this $20 million event, $15 million event every year at a different city or for the next few years? They signed that contract with the old mayor of Chicago. They got a new mayor in. The mayor says, we'll assess and see if we want to have it again. I think the race deserves a second chance. I think it deserves a time where the weather's good and you actually get to host that whole event and see what kind of money it can be made. But there again, I think the businesses that it affected are going to have a say in whether it comes back. I think that NASCAR itself needs to assess the profitability, the profit margins in that race and decide whether it's worth going back. And I think us as fans need to say, would I rather see a street course, or would I rather see Indianapolis Oval, or would I rather see another racetrack be brought back on the schedule, or a different date and it moved around? So I think there's a lot to be said. Now, I say this, Ben Kennedy is a very bright mind in NASCAR. He's very innovative. He's trying to move NASCAR forward in the right direction, building new fans. I get it, but I think the direction that he's choosing with the more road courses and the street races and the Bristol dirt and all this wannabe, the ooh and ah and the excitement of it, I think we're barking up the wrong tree. I think we need to revamp some of the tracks we have. I think we need to rework the schedule. I think we need to bring new tracks into the playoffs. Again, my idea sounds great, a lottery draw. You have 5 stable tracks that only rotate every 5 years. And then you got 5 tracks that change every 2. You know, obviously some of those tracks being in November, you're going to have to get them in early in September because of weather and fall. But I think it's possible. You do it the week of the award ceremony. You know, put those into a lottery thing and go, bam, this is what the schedule looks like. Cutoff races staying the same, and Darlington should never go anywhere. You know, 5 tracks stay. Put a group of other tracks in there, spin them out, and go, hey, Atlanta, you get September whatever date, you know, and that way it gives you time to either move that spring race, which I hope they wouldn't do, or move that fall race and move it into the playoffs, and everybody gets plenty of advancement to buy their ticket. I think it's a great deal, but I think Ben Kennedy definitely needs to pull back on the reins a little bit, get rid of the dirt, get rid of at least 3 to 4 of these road courses. You know, to me, get rid of the street course. I think it deserves one more year to see what kind of opportunity and things that can happen with it, but other than that, that's a wrap, man. Not my forte. You're not going to change my mind on it. The racing itself, the only thing that made the racing itself great is that everybody wrecked and that SVG drove all the way from the back to the front. The racing itself wasn't all that great. It wasn't side by side. It wasn't a lot of passing through the turns throughout the field for everybody. It was when one guy wrecked, 4 or 5 guys passed him, watching them rebound, a few guys here and there passing each other. That's road course racing in general, but to me, like I said, not my forte. I wasn't a huge fan. I think it deserves one more year to see if it gets better. If it doesn't get any better, scrap it. Throw it in the can, come up with something new, man. So that's going to do it for the rubbing part. We are on to the grubbing, and it's finally calming down a little bit. It's still raining like hell out there, y'all, but at least I thought I was getting ready to be like Dorothy here for a minute. I was about to grab Toto, and away we were going to Oz there for a minute, man. Got a good little fave here, baby. We're going to Hot Atlanta, right? We're going into Hot Atlanta, so I got a hot chicky sandwich now. Not just hot, fresh off the grill, fresh off the fryer. No, this thing is hot. I got the hottest sauce they make in here, and knowing them, they probably deuced it up even worse for me, man. Got some bacon, got some mozzarella melted on it. Man, I got the summer pasta salad here. This pasta salad is amazing if you guys hadn't had it yet. Tomato, lettuce, onion. I'm getting ready to tear this thing up, boy, when I get out of here, I promise you. But the hot chicken sandwich for hot Atlanta, go Chase. Get them, baby. You know, Hooters. I wish Hooters would sponsor Atlanta again. I'm wondering why they don't do that. You know, Hooters got an Atlanta location, man. I'm tired of the Napa. I want to see some Hooters in Atlanta, man. So bring that back. Get it. I'm going to start calling this the Chase Elliott Hot Hooters chicken sandwich, baby. Got to give a big shout out to Coach's shows as well. Coach Carl DeMasi with the Coach Carl DeMasi Sports Prep Sports Report every Saturday right here in the Sound Garden. Coach does an amazing job keeping you up to date on everything prep sports in the Savannah area. Also got the YouTube channel. Make sure you go out and subscribe to that Carl DeMasi Prep Sports Report YouTube. And hey, every Tuesday, man, dropping. You got Who's on First Base with Carl DeMasi and the baseball guru Kyle Lawson themselves. You can stream that podcast anywhere you get your podcast, man. But make sure you show that support. Those guys know their baseball. Everything MLB, who's hot, who's not, what's going on. All-Star game coming up. We all know the Braves got a lot. I meant to ask Zach Case about his Twins because he's a Minnesota Twins fan. And I meant to ask him how they were faring, man. But them Braves are killing it. Hopefully we rebound from last night and can't give it up to the damn Cleveland Indians, man. We've got our, Guardians, Guardians, nobody shunned me. It's the Guardians now. But anyways, man, tune in tonight, catch the Braves. Make sure you follow that. I'm getting ready to get the hell out of here. Lawrence is pulling up the raft as we speak. He's paddling up. Getting ready to get it to go box and hop on in, and we're gonna, two-man canoe this thing back over to the motorhome. But I tell you what, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Love you guys as always. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July. And let's remember what it was all about, man. The independence for us to be able to do the things here in America and have the freedoms that we have. To be able to voice opinions, whether they're agreeable or not. To be able to drink the beer we like. To be able to eat the food we like. To be able not to be killed for speaking our mind or stepping out of line and kind of, objecting to some of our government things that we do. That's what makes us American. Be American, stay humble, love each other, baby. As always, hug your loved ones, stay safe. Till next time, bam. Wash your hands, y'all. Woo! I missed.